Welcome to Love Chronicles Story. Here, you'll discover touching and unforgettable tales of love and destiny. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss a new story.
Helen had always considered herself a strong woman, too strong to cry at night, too proud to ask for help. When her husband left her 10 years ago for a young assistant, she clenched her teeth and told herself, "I don't have the right to give up. I have my children." She was 45. It seemed like life was just beginning, but in reality, it felt like it was over. All her energy went into her work, into raising her son and daughter, and into making sure no one could say, "Look, her husband left her, and now she's let herself go." Her son, Michael, got into a prestigious university, then went abroad and returned a successful businessman, confident and cold. Her daughter, Lisa, married young, had a child, and quickly became absorbed in her own family. She was proud of them and believed her life had meant something. But one day, coming home from work in the evening, she was struck by a thought. The apartment was empty. No one was waiting for her. Her children were grown, with their own concerns. Only silence accompanied her footsteps. That evening, Helen let herself break down and sob for the first time. It was then that he came back into her life. Robert. A neighbor had invited Helen to an anniversary party, a small gathering at a restaurant. Helen didn't want to go. What will I do there alone? But she went anyway. And she saw him. Tall, with graying hair and a gentle smile. His gaze settled on her, as if he recognized her. "Helen," he said quietly, moving closer. She blinked, trying to remember. "We met a long time ago, 20 years back. I was a friend of your husband." Memory came flooding back. Mutual friends, barbecues in the backyard, laughter. He was married back then. She was married. Their eyes had met sometimes, but nothing more ever happened. They sat next to each other at the table, and all evening, Helen laughed as if she were 20 again. She had forgotten what it was like to have a man listen to her, be interested in every word she said. After the party, Robert walked her home. As they said goodbye, he said, "You know, I've been a widower for 5 years now. My kids live on their own. I've been meaning to call you for ages, but I never quite dared. Maybe we could see each other again?" Helen nodded, and for the first time in many years, a spark ignited within her. Meetings with Robert became a breath of fresh air for Helen. They walked in the park, sat in small cafes, drove out to the countryside. He was attentive. He brought her flowers for no reason, called to ask about her day. One day, he said, "Helen, you've always been such a strong woman, but with me, you can just be a woman." Those words moved her to tears. However, Helen hid the relationship from her children. She knew they wouldn't like it. To them, their mother was someone who sacrificed herself, who didn't think about a personal life. But secrets never stay secrets for long. Lisa came over unexpectedly. She saw the bouquet on the table and a message on the phone, "Can't wait to see you tonight, yours, Robert." "Mom, what's this?" her daughter asked coldly. Helen was flustered. "Just a friend." "A friend? At your age, you decided to get a boyfriend?" Those words cut deep. Helen tried to explain, but Lisa was already furious. "You should be thinking about your grandchild, about us, not about running off on dates." A week later, Michael found out. He came to his mother's house and without even saying hello, snapped, "I'm ashamed of you. You're embarrassing our family." Helen felt like a teenager caught misbehaving. She wanted to scream, "I have a right to be happy," but the words stuck in her throat. Robert understood what was happening. "I don't want to be the cause of fights with your kids," he said, "but I want you to be happy. Marry me." Helen paled. "Are you serious?"
Completely. We've both had difficult lives. Why shouldn't we spend the rest of it together? She had dreamed of this proposal, but her daughter's and son's words weighed on her like anchors. Embarrassment, shame. Think about your grandchild. Helen didn't answer.
For several weeks, she avoided Robert. The phone rang, but she didn't pick up. She canceled their meetings. Finally, he came to her house. He stood in the hallway, tired and sad. I understand everything, Helen. You're torn between duty and yourself. But know this, I love you. I'll wait. He left, and with him went that spark that had lit up her life. Her children were pleased. Finally, you've come to your senses, said Lisa. You're not a young girl anymore. Keep up appearances, added Michael. We have a family name, a status. We don't need this kind of gossip. Helen stayed silent. Something inside her was breaking. She felt like a prisoner in her own family. One day, her grandson, 8-year-old Jake, came to see her. Grandma, why are you always sad now? Am I sad? Asked Helen, surprised. Yeah, you used to laugh, but now you don't. Those words hit harder than any reproach. Helen realized if she gave in now, she would die inside. Her life would pass in sacrifice and emptiness. Helen wavered for a long time. She thought, what if the kids are right? Maybe it really is too late for me to think about myself. But the longer she lived without Robert, the clearer it became this wasn't living. An accident helped her finally decide. During the winter, Helen slipped on an icy sidewalk and fell hard. It wasn't serious, but the doctor said you shouldn't be alone. You need someone around. That evening, she called Robert herself. He came immediately, helped her without a word, got her settled and brought her medicine. In his eyes, there was no blame, no resentment, only love. I told you, I'm always here for you, he said quietly. In that moment, Helen knew. She didn't want to be alone anymore. A week later, she gathered her children. I want you both to listen to me carefully, she said. Her voice trembled, but she forced herself to speak firmly. I love Robert, and I am going to marry him. Lisa jumped up. Mom, are you crazy? A wedding at your age? Michael frowned. I won't allow it. You're jeopardizing our reputation. For the first time, Helen didn't shrink from their words. She looked at them and said, This is my life, and I have less of it left than you think. I am not going to live it alone just for your convenience. Silence hung in the room. Her children looked at her as if they were seeing not the self-sacrificing mother, but a woman for the first time. The wedding preparations were quiet. Helen didn't wait for her family's blessing. She knew she had truth and love on her side. The day of the ceremony was clear. Only close friends gathered in a small hall. Helen wore a simple but elegant dress. Robert held her hand. Minutes before it was supposed to start, her heart ached. Her children weren't there. Don't worry, whispered Robert. This is our day. The music began. They took a step toward their new life. And at that moment, the doors swung open. In the doorway stood Lisa. Next to her was Jake, her grandson. Mom, her daughter said softly, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I'm sorry. I have no right to take your happiness away. Helen's eyes stung with tears. She hugged her daughter. Her grandson said cheerfully, Grandma, you look as pretty as a princess. The ceremony began. Helen and Robert said I do. Tears streamed down their cheeks, but they were tears of joy. For the first time in many years, she felt this was her life, her choice. After the ceremony, Lisa came up to them. Mom, I was just scared. I thought you'd forget about us if you got married, but now I understand you'll just be happier. Helen took her hands. I will never stop being your mother, but I have the right to be a woman too. Michael didn't show up for a long time, but a month later, he finally came. He walked into the house, looked at his mother and said, "Forgive me. I was selfish. I didn't want to lose you." Helen smiled. "You're not losing me. I'm still your mom. But now I also have my own life and my own love." Michael nodded. For the first time in years, there was warmth in his eyes. That evening, they all sat together. Helen, Robert, her children, and her grandson. There was coffee and cake on the table, and laughter filled the room. The house was filled with what had been missing all those years of loneliness, family happiness. Helen looked at Robert. He was holding her hand, and she thought, life isn't over. It's only just beginning.